Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you, Bob.
So, Ingmar, I got your contact from Dylan. It's really nice that you had the time to join me today. So, in the series that we are now doing, interviewing various people from various expertise fields, mostly we try to focus ourselves on technologies that are related to what we do in balloonery, mostly AI. And so Dylan had the idea immediately to think about you.
Yeah.
So you're the first one, and that's really cool. I checked a bit your background, and I saw that yeah, you have a quite impressive track record from both from studying as well as from your work experience. And I saw that you studied in Tübingen
Yes.
and also in Paris.
Yes.
Maybe you can give us a bit of a background. You know what you studied, and also why studying this kind of topic. And I guess that was like, what is it, like 10 years ago? No.
You with this kind of topic, you mean machine learning and AI?
Machine learning, absolutely, yeah. AI technologies, yeah.
So I did my undergrad in Tübingen, that's right. But for whatever reason, I never did any machine learning over there, which is a big pity, knowing, that Tübingen is a nest of many great researchers and practitioners in machine learning. These days, also a lot of practitioners because Amazon has opened up labs there and opened shop in Tübingen. But I didn't do that over there. Rather, I did a diploma in computer science and another diploma in linguistics, and that's what I started my PhD in. So basically, in my PhD, I was working on a statistical or probabilistic model of the meaning of human language. So the idea was basically that the fact that you can say green grass, but that you're much less probable to say a green dog or green chocolate like this, that this carries meaning, basically. And I was trying and working on this, and nothing, and it didn't really work. My models didn't really work, and I blamed the statistical inference method, which was a numerical integration method called Monte Carlo, for it. So I started working a lot on improving Monte Carlo methods in the second half of my PhD, which got me to
Okay.
Paris. And after Paris, I did a second postdoc in Berlin, which is where I started work on kernel methods, which people might still know from support vector machines, which are still very successful today when it comes to simple classification
Mm.
problems. And yeah, at Zalando, of course, there was also deep learning methods that we worked on. And yeah, that's basically.
Yeah, I saw that you also worked for Zalando. That's really interesting. So, in what context did Zalando needed your expertise in that field?
Zalando is applying a lot of machine learning for all kinds of things, as are many other e-commerce companies. So basically,
Yes.
you're trying, most of the time, you're trying to predict the future because it helps you in logistics, of course. So you're
Sure.
trying to predict which product will be needed where, and you can stock up on it, stuff like that. But also, actually, in terms of ads, so they also, like everybody, like Google also does it, everybody is trying to get the most out of their ad dollars. So
Yeah.
everybody is trying to apply machine learning, and the e-commerce companies, of course, do that as well.
Okay. Cool. And what? So I guess before you started studying, you already must have had some kind of knowledge because I remember when I started studying, actually, I'm coming also from the natural science area, and I also used, for example, Monte Carlo simulations in climatology and in hydrology. But before I started studying these kind of sciences, let's say machine learning, it was just for me considered as being a tool, not necessarily something that I would immediately start studying or having the ambition to becoming really good in that. So what motivated you to did you already had some feeling that this is the next big thing in the world or for humans?
Um, I mean, the the problem that I had in my PhD that I picked out for myself was just fascinating to me, modeling the meaning of human language. And then it was also very clear to me that I didn't want to do it in a theoretical way, and didn't want to do it in the way of discussing with other researchers, which was what many semanticists, so basically linguists that work on meaning, were doing. They were writing research articles which fleshed out what they were thinking about certain parts, and then other researchers replied, and nobody was putting any numbers to it. And I wanted to make it falsifiable in the best scientific tradition, basically, by really putting numbers to it, you know?
I remember, because as I said, so I worked for quite some time in research of hydrology, and when we used our own models to predict river floods, and trying to predict how systems behave, we always had these problems where we said we get the right results, but for the wrong reasons. So, statistically you can have fantastic numbers, but you're not actually explaining the system.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I mean, you can say on the one hand, this is bad if you want to gain scientific insight. On the other hand, if, for example, your goal is to engineer something, and you can statistically show that you generalize well to new data, then you don't care whether you have the correct explanation or whether it
Yes,
simulates a system well or not. That doesn't matter so much.
that's true. Yeah, yeah. I mean, now recently we had this big hype around ChatGPT. GPT AI models are already like live since a couple of years now. It's now really mainstream and public. Everybody talks about it. So how have you experienced this coming from this area and knowing exactly, did you see that coming in the last couple of
I
years?
did not, even though the GPT type of models are exactly what I also have been working on in the PhD, right? Because through probabilistic models, they model language meaning as well, because these are not only syntactically correct texts, but they also are coherent, and they answer to questions, and they can even, you can even make causal inferences from this. Like, you can ask GPT, does age cause weight, or does weight cause age? And GPT will give you the correct answer. And the same thing
Yeah.
from causal inference would be, does height on, like, in a landscape, does height cause temperature, temperature cause height? And it will give you the correct answer. And so this really already captures meaning in language.
Yes.
I did not see it coming. No, I've not been working on this kind of stuff in the last, I don't know, let's say 7 years or something. It is really astounding, because when you look at it, the way of training GPT type of models is extremely naive. It's really
Yeah.
astounding that it works so well. Yeah.
Um, well, I heard people saying that it's not completely understood how actually it works in detail, how the GPT models work, and how they actually come to the results that they produce, either correctly or wrongly, is not always 100% understood how that can happen, kind of.
I mean, it's true that you can't necessarily um, trace back why GPT was spitting out a certain text, of course. But technologically, of course, it's completely understood. We know exactly how these models work. And because it's no magic, right? People have built this. So people know exactly which parts go in, and what happens after a certain text is entered as the start for the GPT model, how the GPT models embed this into a mathematical space, and how from the mathematical space it predicts the next stuff. So this is completely understood, in a way. So many people tell me, well, AI is a black box. It's not for me really, because uh, after reading the papers, you know how these things work, and I understand the wonder and marvel that they work so well. Uh, and sometimes I'm also astounded by this, but of course we understand how they work. We made them.
Yeah, but that's really cool. But you're not using now, as you said, so you haven't worked in language models for a couple of years. So you created a company in biotech, if I
Yes.
understood correctly,
Yes.
and there you use other machine learning technologies, right?
Uh, part, yeah, in part. So in some sense, you can also see what we're doing now as a language model. It's just a matter of terminology. It's a language model in the sense of we are embedding sequences, in our case also of characters actually, but it's just 20 characters, because the 20 characters, um, they are they symbolize building blocks in biochemistry. They symbolize amino acids, and there's 20 amino acids, so there's 20 characters, one for each amino acid. And we design proteins for industrial or pharma use. So, for example, proteins are used as catalysts for chemical reactions. These proteins are called enzymes, and what you typically want is to make these enzymes catalyze the reaction as to be as fast as possible, and you want to change the sequence to make this happen. Yeah.
Okay, nice. And how did you come to that kind of application? Was it your idea, kind of, or have you, worked with other people together, and then you came to that idea later?
We were searching for something to do a company with, and we had a few criteria. One of them was AI has to be a unique selling point, so you should be able to get a strong edge with AI. And at some point, I talked to my co-founder Philip and said, "Well, maybe we can do something that's worthwhile for society as well." So we
Yes.
started looking a bit in precision farming and that kind of stuff, and then started to talk to a research group really that was engineering enzymes, so proteins, in order to make them faster in catalyzing the electrolysis reaction. So they had enzymes which you could put on a cathode and put an
Yes.
electrical current underwater and get hydrogen and oxygen. They were trying to make this enzyme as fast as possible, and that's how it started basically.
I guess you did it the right way. In startups we talk about customer discovery, so you know it's always good also to talk to potential customers to understand what if what you build actually is going to be used. But I guess
At
um,
the same time, you have to jump
it's
in, I think, because you know, like Henry Ford said, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. So
yeah, yeah, that's also true. Yeah,
you have to build something. If it's if it's
you have to start somewhere. Yeah,
if it's far-sighted enough, then you have to build it and try out whether somebody wants it.
yeah, yeah. I guess so. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think one of the most interesting questions for me personally, also, if I talk to my own kids, um, and because I'm experiencing this a lot now with GPT, and because we're using it also in Balloonery, um, I really have something like I have something mixed feelings because on one hand I am personally somebody who loves new technology and new stuff is coming and I'm a fast adopter. I love to use that stuff.
Hmm.
And then I'm thinking, okay, how can I make this now explain to my kids how the world is going to look in 10 years? Uh, and yeah, I have to say it's one of these rare things when rare new technologies where sometimes I have like a little doubt if it's not like if we're not completely eliminating ourselves kind of. But on the other hand, it's like it behaves probably as usual. New technologies You can either use it for good or for bad, and everything will turn out fine. As always. So
Yeah, keys.
so how do you see this?
The danger of AI, you mean?
The danger, and also how do you see the world moving forward? How will the world look like in 10 years? Because obviously what has now been shown, what GPT is capable of, and how it's disrupting kind of so many areas.
Mm.
How will the world look like in the future?
Um, I think GPT is nice, and it will help doing a lot of things a lot faster, a lot of everyday things. It's impossible to foresee what will happen. I
Sure.
wouldn't be a machine learner if I wouldn't say that. Extrapolation is super hard, and I think everybody says that. Even the people that have worked on GPT wouldn't know what you would be able to do with it. I'm not sure. I think one wave that is still coming that will not be consumer facing is for sure the stuff that we and other companies are working on. So AI that helps to design chemistry and biochemistry way faster than it used to be. I mean, even today we can see that um, GPT-like models can design completely new proteins from scratch, and not completely from scratch, but enough in,
Yeah, yeah,
enough
yeah.
to justify the terminology like
Yes.
new proteins
New. Yeah, 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 yeah.
that
Yeah. Being creative. Yeah.
that work like in nature, and it's and we've also been able to show that we can create proteins that work much better than nature and way faster than anybody ever has. So there was a Nobel Prize on a certain protein engineering technique in, I think, 2007 or 8, and we just bet this technique very recently in terms of what we were able to do. So basically, this is compounding. So it's an I think it's to a large part exponential growth, because
Yes.
you get to good points faster, and then from these good points you again can iterate and get to the next point also much faster. So basically, yeah, you have exponential growth, and will be able to play God more or less. You will be able in, I think, 10 maybe 15 years to snap a finger and have a molecule that binds to a certain type of cancer, and this will be possible for sure.
I heard rumors that already there are like meetings internally at Microsoft to present GPT-4. That is, everybody expecting to come out this year or maybe next
Hmm.
year. Um, so these are all language models, and what what next bigger AI will are you predicting is coming out and changing? Well, you just mentioned biotech and protein designing, but what else is there? I mean, I'm also thinking about image generation. That's going to also probably completely disrupt the internet, because you won't trust videos anymore. You won't trust images anymore.
I
So
mean,
how do you see
yes.
this?
I mean, what people already have published, and what already has made the media is automatic generation of videos, of course, automatic generation of 3D objects, also just based on prompts. So I think media creation definitely will be easier for folks um, that want to do a basic thing. So, and then the question is, of course, mm, can the general public even tell the difference between what people have
Mm,
created, what
no,
AI has
I
created?
yeah, yeah. No,
I'm not
I recently
sure.
heard about there was a tool where you could just put text and then you had, a voice reading that text, and it sounds so natural. I couldn't make
Yes.
the difference. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and
of
that's
course,
really scary.
it's very
That's
natural, for sure. So I think all of media creation is definitely getting much easier in some
yes,
respects. In other respects, it will still be not so easy. And also with GPT, it can't do everything for you. Um,
yeah, yeah,
but certain tasks are just nicer, and that's great, I think,
yeah, yeah,
overall.
yeah, yeah. And I think we have to completely rethink of what our job will be and what the job of the AI will be. So.
Yes,
Um,
for sure. But
rethinking about the value we bring and the value that AI will bring, and yeah,
that is number one. The other thing is, of course, also how do we compensate? Because right now, AI is like every other tool. It makes it possible to make much more money from the same amount of invested money. So you create a lot of value today with very little time that you were completely unable to create 100 years ago. Um, so the lever gets much bigger, and what humanity always has tended to do is we were always trying to reach further. When we had better tools, it did not mean that we were getting lazy, but we were always trying to do more and do better. And I think that's what's going to happen in the future as well. The question, though, is um, this the lever that is getting longer and longer and thus has a bigger effect. It also has a bigger effect currently on the monetary distribution among the general population. And I think that at some point it might become a problem. So we might have to solve this at some point. Yeah.
Sam Altman, the CEO of GPT, created another startup where they issued these world coins to basically create the
Mm.
foundation, a crypto foundation for the base income. And I think yeah, so that would basically back what you just said. Cool. Thank you very much, Ingmar. That was really interesting.
Thank you, Bob.
It was really nice to have you here, and thanks for your time. Cool. Thank you very much, and talk to you soon. Bye.